Before you go down, you're doing what's called a breathe up to get rid of all of the CO or as much of the CO2 out of your body as possible.
No, you don't.
So you need to do an incredibly good job before you go down of building up as much O2 in your system as possible.
You don't do that. What is up, guys? Today I'm going to react to a video, which is another reaction video from the channel Dive Talk, a scuba channel, on a blackout that happened during a spearfishing trip. If you're new to this channel, my name is Gert Leroy, helping you master freediving. Before I continue this video, I have to say that the people from Dive Talk, they realized they said something that was not correct, because they had been receiving comments from their own subscribers. So they have changed the description of this video and the title. In fact, the title says, be sure to read video description before watching this video. So thumbs up for that. That's a good thing. I want to get a little deeper into this. This is not just a mistake, because that's what their subscribers are saying, like, yeah man, good job for you. So you know you made a mistake and you corrected your mistake. Great job. We do not expect you to be right all the time. So when you know you made a mistake and you correct it, that's what we want to see. Okay, I get it. But this is not a mistake. This goes way further than just making a mistake, because Woody, as the guy who was talking, one of the two hosts of this talk show,
getting rid of the CO2.
He has 50 years of scuba experience. In the About section of their YouTube channel, you can read that he has started diving in 1970. He has more than 6,000 dives and earned 12 PADI Awards of excellence. Well, for sure he didn't win any award for freediving. What I want to point out here is that this is not a mistake. This is willingly not wanting to inform yourself about a sport that you think you know but you don't. Because freediving is very much different from scuba diving. In scuba diving you breathe. In freediving you do not breathe. You hold your breath. Why would you think that those two sports or activities would be the same? They are not. My question here is, how is it possible that a guy with 50 years of experience in scuba diving makes a commentary video on freediving, which is actually on spearfishing, but things are similar? How is this possible that you do not even document yourself on how freediving is? I don't know anything about scuba diving, but if I would make a commentary video on a scuba diving video, I would at least read something about it. I would at least watch some videos, so at least I know the basics. So how come Woody comments on a freediving video thinking he knows what he's saying is absolutely the truth without documenting himself? I mean, I cannot understand this, and this is the reason I'm making this video, because it's all about mindset. This is not about making a mistake. We all make mistakes. I've made God knows how many mistakes. If I could only turn back time and do things differently. We all make mistakes. That is not a problem. The problem is that you refuse to educate yourself on something that you think you know already, but you don't. You're a scuba master, man. You're not a freediver. So what if people just watch your video, but they do not read the description? I mean, how many people read the description? Okay, you change the title as well. So make sure you read the description before you watch this video. How many people are going to read the descriptions? They're just going to watch your video. They're going to think, okay, this guy has 50 years of experience, so he must be a knowledgeable guy. He must know what he's saying. So they're simply gonna take this in. Okay, hyperventilation. Yeah, freedivers, they hyperventilate, and then that's it. You know, they go do something else. They go play ping pong. People don't have the time to really read every single thing you write in the description of your channel. They're just gonna hear you saying that freedivers hyperventilate and get rid of CO2 and then go on with their day. It's blatant, wrong and dangerous information that you're giving there. And yes, once again, you acknowledge you were wrong, but that's not enough, man. It's still out there and people are still gonna see it, and people are gonna think that this is how you have to freedive, and people are going to execute it. So that's my take on this video. Let's continue watching.
For contests, let's say you're in a freediving contest, you have to go down to the depth and come back up and maintain consciousness. Before you go down, you're doing what's called a breathe up to get rid of all of the CO or as much of the CO2 out of your body as possible.
No, man, no. You don't do that. So this is exactly what we teach our students in the very first course as a beginner they take. It is not to do that, not to hyperventilate. So you do not get rid of your CO2 level. So what happens when you hyperventilate? You are exhaling more air than necessary. So this is dangerous because CO2 we need as a natural alarm clock. It is the CO2 that tells you when it is time to breathe again. The very first definite urge to breathe you feel usually comes in the form of a contraction. It can be a diaphragmatic spasm. The diaphragm is a big muscle that separates your chest from your abdominal region. So when this diaphragm contracts, that's what we call a contraction. That is a definite sign of the urge to breathe. So when you hyperventilate, you are exhaling all this CO2 and you do not get this alarm clock. You do not get this signal telling your brain, hey, I gotta go up. So you might feel like, hey, I can hold my breath forever here. Well, forever until you black out, of course. So the blackout on hyperventilation can come without any warning at all. So this is the worst advice ever you can give to someone. It is to hyperventilate on freediving because you need, or spearfishing, because you need the CO2 to tell you when it is time to start breathing again. For a beginner, this will come more early than for an advanced freediver, but also advanced freedivers need this CO2 to tell them now it is time to start breathing again. Now, another reason why we need CO2 is not only because of the safety aspect, this natural alarm clock, it is also, and this might sound contradictory, to distribute the oxygen in your system better. Yes, that is right. So while CO2 actually stops you from holding your breath, at least for beginners, it is also the gas that is responsible for holding your breath longer. Freediving is such an interesting sport, right? So CO2 helps your body, your system, to distribute the available oxygen better towards the tissues in your body, towards your body parts. So you can hold your breath longer when you have healthy levels of CO2 in your system. If you're hyperventilating and you are exhaling all this CO2, then, well, the oxygen gets distributed in a less effective way, and eventually you cannot hold your breath as long as if you would not have been hyperventilating.
So you need to do an incredibly good job before you go down of building up as much O2 in your system as possible.
No, you don't. You do not build up as much O2 as possible in your system because that is simply impossible. So we have, it's just incredible that a guy with 50 years of experience is talking so much bullshit. We have an oxygen saturation of 95 to 99%. Always, as I'm talking to you right now, as you're watching this video, when you are sleeping, when you are cooking, when you're doing whatever it is, you have an oxygen saturation of 95 to 99%, except when you hold your breath for an extended amount of time, then your oxygen saturation will lower. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about normal rest, relaxing position. So 95 to 99% of oxygen saturation in our body. You cannot get that any higher. It's impossible. You cannot build up O2 in your system. That doesn't make sense.
Getting rid of the CO2 so that when you do come up,
we do not get rid of the CO2. We want the CO2. We want normal, healthy levels of CO2 in our system because CO2 helps us in holding our breath longer. So what is it that we do during the breathe up? Well, actually this word breathe up is a bit misleading because when you hear the word breathe up, you are automatically thinking about breathing something up. So yeah, you are breathing your oxygen levels up. No, nothing could be further from the truth. We aren't breathing up anything, we are just doing nothing. During the breathe up, we do nothing. We do absolutely nothing. We just wait, we just relax. We just give our body and our mind time to enjoy the moment, get into the zone, concentrate on our dive, and we just relax. We do not do anything, we do not breathe up anything, we do not hyperventilate. We just breathe in a normal way, like we are breathing every day, like we are breathing during normal daily life, and we call this tidal breathing. Tidal breathing is a fancy name for just breathing in the most relaxed way possible. You know how to tidal breathe because you are tidal breathing right now. I am tidal breathing right now. Well, maybe not because I'm getting a little bit hyped up with this video, but if you are in a normal relaxed position, you are tidal breathing. And tidal breathing comes down to a small inhalation, small exhalation, almost unnoticeable. So this is how it looks. You didn't see anything because I was tidal breathing, minimal inhalation, minimal exhalation. You don't see what's happening. Your diaphragm is going up and down a little bit. When you're taking deep breaths, diaphragm goes up and down more. This is deep breathing. We don't do that during the breathe up. We do tidal breathing. Diaphragm goes up a little bit, goes down a little bit. Almost barely noticeable. That's what we do, Woody. We just don't do a goddamn thing during the breathe up. We just relax and get our mind into the zone.
Breathe! Breathe, Danny! Breathe, Danny! Danny, breathe! Danny, breathe!
Okay, so a little word on this blackout, their brothers. I'm not saying that the guy who blacked out was hyperventilating, and that is also not what Woody from Dive Talk is implying. But just for your information, so his brother is like screaming to him like, breathe, breathe, breathe. So when someone blacks out, there is a rescue procedure which we teach in freediving courses. Blow, tap, talk, that's how it goes. So first you blow twice on the cheek of the victim, because when you receive air here on your cheeks, we have receptors here that might trigger a response to wake you up. Blow, tap, then we're gonna tap 1, 2 on the cheek, not too hard, not like this, but just to gently wake up the person, and then talk. And what are we gonna say? We're gonna say breathe and then the name of the person. Because even when the person is unconscious, when you hear your name and when you hear a simple word like breathe, it might be enough to trigger your brain and wake up.
Danny, breathe! Breathe! Breathe, Danny, breathe! Breathe! Breathe!
So we see the safety diver here screaming to his brother, breathe, breathe, breathe. I mean, I understand. I mean, I'm not criticizing this guy. He saved the life of his brother. So good job, good job. Without his brother, he would have been dead. But just for your information, you do not scream to the person. You have to remain your calmness. If you're an experienced freediver, you've been in this situation probably multiple times, and you know how to do this. So when a person gets saved, I mean, the victim here was only a couple of seconds underwater. It didn't last that long. So if he was alone, he would have been dead. But he wasn't alone. Good for him. He was rescued. And then as a rescuer, you know that once you bring your victim to the surface, it will probably be fine, and in most cases it's just fine. So there is no need to scream. Imagine your victim is right here, so you're holding the guy who blacked out, and his head is right here. So if you're screaming, it all comes in here very, very, very hard. When you're blacked out, you are already in a trauma situation. You do not want to get that input. So talk gently to your to the victim. Just say breathe, and then the name of this person. Breathe. Do not scream. So when we look at the blackout, you can see that from the moment the diver reaches the surface, he blacks out and immediately starts sinking. So it's difficult to see here in this video, but what happens when you black out is you automatically exhale. So when you exhale air, you become less buoyant, which means you sink faster. Now, you shouldn't sink that fast. So the reason he was sinking that fast is probably, although I'm not sure about this, so pardon me if this would not be the case, but most likely he was wearing too much weights, which is a common problem in spear fishermen, because spear fishermen need to go down and stay there for a long time to shoot their fish. So they wear more weights than we freedivers do. We freedivers, we choose our weights that we are neutrally buoyant at 10 meters, and we have another way of checking our weights as well, and we do that in such a way that when we black out, so we simulate the blackout, we simulate a passive exhalation. If we sink on the surface, then we know we have too much weight on. So we choose our weights in such a way that on a passive exhalation, which would be a blackout in real life, on the surface, we would not sink, we would still float, which might possibly save our lives if we would black out and a safety diver would not be fast enough to grab us. So this is not what happened here. You see that the diver immediately sinks after blacking out. So this is probably due to wearing too much weight.
Where they're usually like, what happened? What happened? Like, you don't even know you passed out.
Yeah.
You're just like, what? I'm breathing. What happened? You're like, well, you passed out.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So I've seen this many times happening when I saved a guy from blacking out. Well, after blacking out, that yeah, they just woke up and they were like, hey, I'm okay. And they had no clue what happened. Well, they had like a little clue. They knew something happened because you know, you're not alone there, so other people arrive around the buoy, so you're all like looking at this person and he's like, what happened? So they probably figure out, yeah, I must have blacked out, but yeah, they don't know what happened.
So what if he was alone? Do you think you should
Yeah.
free dive to those depths alone?
Yeah, absolutely true. If he was alone, he would have been dead now. So never free dive alone, always dive with a buddy, and make sure this buddy is a skilled free diver so this person can execute a rescue on you, because if your buddy is a beginner who doesn't know what to do, well then it's like the same as diving alone. Alright guys, if you go out there, don't hyperventilate, always dive with a buddy. Peace in every breath.